Welcome back, Planeswalkers, to another episode of the Hive Mind. My name is Jon Dunning. This is the show where I traverse the multiverse in search of other prominent members of the Magic the Gathering community. While you're out traversing, please head on over to cardsphere.com. That's right, cardsphere.com is simply the very best place to buy, sell, and trade your paper Magic the Gathering cards online. While you're out there, why don't you head on over to inkedgaming.com, enter a promo code HiveMindMTG to receive 10% off your purchase. Without further ado, planeswalking in from the tropical island of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the incredible streamer. A lot of people know her as Jamie Topples, aka Jamie Rigatti. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is great.
Just to kind of set the tone, your streams are just so different and so relaxed and so awesome, and I just have to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. That's always nice to hear great feedback, because sometimes the internet can be a cruel place, but mostly good. So
That it can be. As we start out on the Hive Mind, I like to kind of, we'll get to the Magic origins and all that, because that's kind of why, you know, people show up, because they want to know about how everyone's spark ignited, so to speak. But what is the largest way Magic has impacted your life positively?
Oh gosh, the largest way. I mean, it has to be the gathering, right? Just the friends I've made along the way have been phenomenal. Being able to travel and just see people you don't see all the time. Like, I don't know. I've made some really amazing friendships from this game, and I treasure them. And just being able to stream full time has been a real dream come true. Like, I'm very, very happy with where I am right now with Magic.
That is so awesome. Magic origin story. How did you find this game? Are you a old salty dog like myself, or did you kind of find it a little bit later?
So I've actually just been playing Magic for 4.5 years.
Okay.
I was introduced by my husband, Jon, aka Jon Snow. He looks a lot like Jon Snow.
That's a good name, I've been told.
Yeah. So what he did was he bought me dual decks for Christmas, and he was so excited. He couldn't even wait for them to come to the house. He ordered them on Amazon. So he showed me the order on Amazon. And I was such a jerk. I cried. I'm not even, like, this is not a joke. I saw them and I said, oh my gosh, I don't want to learn that. It's so complicated. Like, I was in massage therapy school at the time, and I was just, like, very frustrated, and my mind was full, and I was not ready to learn. I thought it was going to be, like, hours and hours of playing. I don't know. I thought it was, like, Risk on steroids for some reason.
Kind of is.
I mean, so some games are really long, sure, but, you know, you can play a game in like 10, 15 minutes. But I was thinking it was just going to take like 4 hours, 5 hours a game for some reason. And I was like, I don't want to learn that. So then I actually like scared him off. He's like, fine, I won't get it. So he canceled the order. Then I like felt really bad, and I had to convince him to get them. So he bought them. We played at our kitchen table. Like, that's how a lot of people start. And I mean, I liked it a lot, but I lost so much. It's so frustrating in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he told me later that he started to let me win, so I would want to be like encouraged to keep playing. And I was so mad at him when I heard that, but I mean, I guess it helped.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
What kind of, I guess, colors or specific decks did you kind of flock to at first?
I mean, at first, red, white. I just gotta keep it simple.
Yeah.
Turn them sideways. Combat tricks.
Hey, I mean, there is some play to, like, a lot of people say, oh, you know, the starting thing is like red aggro, or that's kind of everyone's, when a new format comes out, especially in standard, everyone kind of flocks to the red aggro deck, because that's kind of the easiest way to kind of, you know, rip off wins until you learn like the greater format. But I mean, there is I've been in some real pressure cookers going against mirrors in you know, RDW matches and all that. There is definitely some strategy involved to being a great aggro player.
Oh yeah, like, I'm not even a good aggro player these days. I've tried to play mono red in standard, and I am terrible at it. And I'm really bad at playing against mono red. I don't know why. Like, my brain can't wrap itself around the strategy for that. I mean, aggro's definitely not simple. There's a finesse to it.
Sure.
But in the beginning, I do think the strategy is the easiest strategy. But to play it well, you know, yeah. I'm not just saying it's for buffoons, because it's not.
Right. And is Jon an aggro player? Is he a more of a control player, mid range?
He likes tempo, like so his favorite deck is like the Is It spells deck, and he's very, very good at tempo.
That's why you hated Magic at first. You're just like, I want to play. And he's like, no, counter that,
Right.
burn that, kill that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun, right? Yeah. Those early tabletop stories, anything that really sticks out where you're just like, this is actually pretty great.
Um, I mean, so that's probably my biggest weakness as a Magic player is my memory is terrible. So I have just very fuzzy memories of that time. Like I remember when I first started winning and how good that felt, and then I got very addicted to that feeling. But I think that's like a very common denominator for a lot of people, right? Like the spikes, you just chase that win.
Yeah, absolutely. How about even lately? Like, I don't know, what is your favorite moment just actually playing the game? Not so much with content creation or being able to travel or whatnot, but just actually like pure playing enjoyment.
Oh gosh, that's like such a hard question.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just telling you, like my memory is so bad. So like as soon as I'm done playing a game, it just like disappears.
Sure. Well, you play a ton of it, so I mean, that's fair.
I am playing like 40 plus hours a week at this point.
Oh, boy.
45 hours. Yeah.
That's a little bit of Magic played.
Yeah. No, it's so my favorite part of playing right now is like when I love new formats, right? But they freak me out. My win rate always dips like very low.
Sure.
So when I get to that point in the format where everything just starts to click, and that's where I am right now with War of the Spark. Like on Arena, I'm just going 4-2, 5-1, 5-0. Like
excellent.
It feels very good.
Now, in standard or in drafts or both?
In drafts.
Okay.
I haven't been playing much standard, to be honest. Like there's a couple decks that I like to play, but for me, it just gets too repetitive. Mm-hmm. I like the newness, the freshness of drafts. Every time it's different. Like I love it.
Now, do you have a certain archetype that you've found so far? If you kind of like, do you try to force draft sometimes, or do you kind of, are you comfortable enough with the format now where you kind of let the draft table dictate what you're drafting?
I feel like you should always let the draft table dictate what you're drafting. But there's definitely preferences, and that's okay to take them into account for sure. So for me, I mean, any of the Grixis I think is super fun. Like Red-Black Sacrifice is very fun. I like the Blue-Black Control. Today I had a deck with Jace, and he's great. I mean, drawing 2 cards a turn is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, let me have that all the time, please. And then I really like Blue-White Control. I think that's probably my favorite deck to play. Gum up the ground, get the flyers up, and just win games. So that's cool.
Yeah, I totally feel you on the red-black. I see watching some of your streams, you are definitely you have the Rakdos moniker, and you're all in on that evil carnival, and I am too. Like I've had the most luck with that archetype when I can get it, and it's just such a fun, different set, right? It's just like you get to just draft planes. Like before, you would open a planeswalker and the whole room would stop, whether you be in, an LGS or whatever. You just like, you hold it up like, oh, I got a planeswalker. Now it's just like, oh, another planeswalker, like just pass. Or it's just such a weird feeling. I don't want to feel fatigued after we move on and this isn't a thing anymore, but I do appreciate how special this set still feels. Yeah,
it's very complex. It's very deep. And a lot of people were saying it's like a Prince format, but I don't even think so. I think it's just very highly synergistic. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course there's bombs, but there's ways to mitigate them.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like there's quite a bit of removal in this set.
Yeah. Well, for me, I still get got by Narset's ability sometimes, or like the Wanderers, and you're just like, are you kidding me? Or like the other day, somebody tried to Divine Arrow when I had the Wanderer out, and I was like, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, Kaya takes me to school too. I'm just like, geez. And that was one of the ones where I'm like, oh, this card's garbage, until I just get my best thing exiled every single time. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. It's good. It's fine. I'm sorry I said that.
You thought it was bad because of the triple mana cost, or like very expensive? Like, why did you think she was bad?
Yeah, just I mean, I'm such an Orzhov geek, and so every Orzhov Planeswalker just isn't good enough anyways. And then like it got released, and I'm like I just love the character of Kaya so much, and I just felt like she hasn't had like a really, really cool card until you actually play with them. Like even her was it Ravnica Allegiance card was, everyone at first is like, oh, this is pretty bad, myself included, and then you play with it in the right shell rather, and it's like, oh, okay, no, they actually are giving her pretty unique cards, especially in that color combination. Yeah. What is your favorite format? Is it draft?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I would do all day, every day, and that is what I do all day, every day. Except for there's going to be a lot of sealed action happening on my stream for the next few weeks as soon as New Horizons. I keep saying New Horizons. No, Modern Horizons.
Is that a movie? I feel like that's a movie.
New Horizons is the card that fixes. Right. So that's already out. I mean, if you really want it, it's there.
You already play New Horizons, yeah.
Yeah. I just keep saying that, so whoops.
I feel like that's like a bad 80s movie, too. If I'm just... I'll have to look.
It sounds familiar. It does.
I'll IMDb it, and I'll probably be disappointed with what I find. It's like some Hallmark movie or something. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm a little bummed that we're not going to be able to draft Modern Horizons on Arena, because I just...
An Arena?
Yeah, I mean, right?
You don't play Moto?
I could.
Oh.
I mean, I play when I really have to play EDH and I can't get out to a store. I'll fire up Moto, but that's pretty few and far between. It's just so hard to go back, right? It's like sitting in a Tesla and then having to get back into your like Cutlass Sierra.
But I'm so fond of it. Like I don't think it's that bad. But I understand. Arena is truly beautiful and fun to play and very like seamless most of the time. Of course, it's still in beta, so we have a few issues here and there. But yeah.
It's just like I've held Duels of the Planeswalkers to such high esteem because that is really what got me back. I mean, I started in Ice Age, I left the game for a while, and then I came back, and when Innistrad came back because of Duels of the Planeswalkers, and this is just Duels in just such a expanded way, and I just appreciate that so much. And I like the aesthetics of it. Aesthetics isn't everything, but it's very functional too, where Moto is just like, a lot of people told me before Arena came out, they're just like, there's a lot of times where you're going to time walk yourself and this, that, and the other thing. I feel like I time walk myself more on Moto than I ever did on Arena.
Yeah.
So
okay, so a few things about that. You've been playing since Ice Age. Do you have an old DCI number? Is it like five numbers?
Yeah, actually.
That's so cool.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but it is pretty old because I was jamming Nether Shadows and Fallen Angel in what was standard back in the day. So I mean,
yeah, I'm so jealous of people who have been playing for years and years. Like, I feel like I would be on the Pro Tour regularly at this point if I've been playing for 15 years. I know that's like that's like high self-esteem or something, but like I know how difficult that is, but
yeah, but I mean you're a fantastic player. I mean you and we'll talk about this a little bit later. You were invited to one of the most prestigious tournaments ever. So I mean you're no slouch, and I think you would be the next Kai Buddha if you were playing for that long. So
wow. That's very high praise, but yeah, like I mean no, not quite that level, but yeah, I think I would be in a really good spot had I had years and years and years of experience. But where I'm at right now, I'm very proud of where I'm at right now. Like I've cashed GPs, I have pro points.
Awesome.
I think I played pretty well. I mean, of course, like when you stream, I feel like people are always like, sometimes people come in and they'll be like, you don't know what you're doing. It's like, I'm interacting with chat. Like, of course I'm going to ask chat what they think. Like, right. I know what I'm doing. I could play and just go through all the lines, but is that interesting and fun for people to watch? No. And then like punts are fun. Like,
yeah. Some people make a whole careers off them, and then they make t-shirts like Pleasant Kenobi.
Yeah, so it's not like I do them on purpose per se, but like, just everybody makes mistakes. Like, you might as well have a good time with them. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. And it creates stories and it creates moments. And that is, like you said, what makes your chat and your streaming experience so welcoming and inviting feeling. It's a very much like Ashlyn Rose. Like, I love watching her streams, and your streams feel very much like hers as well, where it's more of just having a conversation with people than just spiking it out.
Right. But I want to do both.
Fair enough. When did you decide you wanted to go from playing the game to creating content? Where you're just like, okay, kitchen table was fun, but I think I have something to say and I have something to provide this greater community.
So, I mean, I say this all the time, but it's true. I have fought Magic every step of the way. Every step. So from starting to play, and then like after we started playing, I was like, this is great, but I'll never go to F&M. Then we went to F&M, and I was like, we have to go every week. We have to go every week. I need to win this. Well, we went to a pre-release first, then F&M, and then I was like, I'll never watch things online. Because John would watch like Twitch, and I was like, why would you watch Magic? Why don't you just play it?
Right.
And I started watching all the time, and then I was like, I'll never play Magic online. That program looks so hard. I'll never play that. Addicted.
Right.
Like... So then after that, I was like, okay, I had this idea where I wanted to be the very best I could be. And I knew that I wasn't going to get there doing what I was doing, which was at that point in time, I was listening to Limited Resources every week, like religiously. And that definitely upped my game for sure. I was becoming the F&M end boss after like, I don't know, 8 months of playing. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm in a good spot here. This is great. Like, I can win.
Such a good feeling, right?
Yeah, no, it's great. But after that, I was like, okay, to get truly better, I think I need feedback. And that's why I started streaming.
And then
Which sounds boring, right?
No, not at all. I mean, that's awesome. Did you know that were you a competitive person before you started playing Magic?
I mean, I guess so. I don't even know. I guess I'm very competitive with myself. Like, I want to see other people do well. And for me, like, it is really hard. I do not like when someone mulligans to 5 and then they just can't do anything.
Sure.
I'm like,
yeah.
I feel for them. Like, I want real games of Magic, right?
Yeah.
I want the highest level competitor I can get because that's going to make me better.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah, like, I mean, I appreciate feedback. And then I always ask, like, if I go to a GP or something, I'll be like, do you want some feedback? You know, if people make mistakes. I never just go, you should have done this. Like, no, like, if they don't want to know, just let them be.
Right.
Also, you don't have perfect information. Like, sometimes you think somebody made a mistake, but they had something in their hand or,
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll ask them questions, like, why did you make that play?
Yeah,
because I'm just truly curious.
My favorite parts of F&Ms, especially like when you play Paper Magic face-to-face, is the after. Whether I'm getting stomped to the dirt or I wind up on top, I like discussing the game and commentating on the game afterwards. Because, like you said, that is, especially when they're great games, that is how you learn or help other people learn. Absolutely. When I did go to your stream, went in the intention of spending about 10 minutes, and then I looked at the clock and over an hour passed. And I'm like, whoa, this is
That's
something.
a good thing.
It's an incredible thing. I mean, like I said, the incredible positivity, great music. Like, I told me, you got me with the Get Up Kids cover of Close to You by The Cure. Just great music in there. I was just like, wow, this is like my playlist, but watching Magic too. Like, this is a perfect marriage. How did you essentially just figure it out, how to curate and attract such a positive crowd and environment?
So it's an ongoing process. Like, I'm definitely still figuring it out, but I mean, I feel like truly blessed. Like, since the beginning, I've had people that I have some people that come to every stream and they hang out every time and they give me feedback every time, or like, they'll just come in even if like, they're like, oh, I have to go to the gym, but I just wanted to stop by and say hi. I hope you're having a great day. Like, I mean, I just feel incredibly lucky. I don't know how that happens, but I do think that every streamer fosters a community, and I feel like this is probably I don't know how to phrase this, but I feel like your world is a mirror, right? So like, what you throw out, you're gonna attract.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that I'm throwing out good vibes and getting good vibes back. I mean, is that a thing? I hope so.
Absolutely seems to be. I mean, like I said, I was in there for a while, and it was nothing but, I mean, of course, you'll have your trolls just exist, right? Like, there's nothing you could do about that. And I think you even commented on that, or commentated on that while that was happening, where you're just like, I feel bad for people that need to get their attention that way. And I feel the same way. I have a little bit of a mean streak, like when I've been doing this for a while, and when I get these, like horrible comments of just vitriol, I'll just go after them and, whatever. But I do feel bad for them when it's just like pathetic. I do feel bad, and I'm like, okay, this person, you don't know what's going on in their life, or you don't know how they were brought up in their life, or something went wrong for this to be the representation of their personality. So you have to kind of feel bad in a certain way, unless you just don't, and then then gloves come off when it gets real nasty. But how do you tend to deal with people like that, like the negative people? Do you just kind of ignore them, shrug them off, try to talk to them, or do you kind of have a mean streak sometimes too and go after them?
It really depends on the day. Like, some days, I feel stronger than other days. Some days I just feel like I can't deal with it. I've actually turned a few like trolls into like great friends of the stream.
That's awesome. Converted them. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, so a lot of people will come in and they'll be like, Topples? I thought that said topless. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, you play Magic. Like, I know you can read. There's a lot of like words that are similar in the English language. Like, so that joke gets really old really fast. Sure. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, like honestly, I didn't think about it until it was too late. I was like, the name's already out there.
Yeah.
Gotta roll with it. But Topples does stand for like topple, like, I'm very clumsy, so that's where it came from. And then Topplegeist is my spirit animal, so I don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And Topples is just fun to say. I don't know, Topples.
I swear I didn't even make that correlation for topless, but I'm also not 12 anymore.
Exactly. So that's a lot of things. At times I think it's just like a younger person, or I don't know, like the internet, you can find that stuff on the internet, surprisingly.
There might even be Magic streams.
Well,
but to each their own. I mean, there is something for everyone on the internet.
Right. Like, I'm not judging, like, but it's, on Twitch they don't have that. So like, I just wish people would sort of like ease up a little bit. Like, some days it's just like, okay, like, let's move on, right? Yeah. But it's all right. You just roll with it, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. Being as prolific as a streamer as you are, how much has that cut into your time playing actual paper Magic?
Paper Magic, I don't play as much anymore. I wish I could get to F&M more.
Yeah.
But it's like a half-hour drive to our local game shop. So, I mean, I do want to get out there more, though, because I miss that community. That, like, level of playing Magic is fantastic. So I feel like I need to make time for that. We are playing a lot of paper events coming up. We just came off of Providence, which I cashed with my team, which was awesome. Yeah, but it's really weird because, so all the X2s cashed, and then there was like some people that went 5 and 3 that got cashed because it was top 50.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's hilarious. So we went in at X2, and then the next day we just built terribly, and we went 0-4. 0-4, so we went 6 and 6 and still cashed. I just think that's hilarious, and we had a blast. So there's I don't know, I think Magic is a great teacher in so many ways. Like, you can't worry about the results. You just got to do the best you can and then have fun doing it. Like,
so here's kind of a heady question: where do you predict the state of paper and digital formats in the near future, or even the long future, just in the future in general?
Oh, gosh. So I honestly have been thinking for a while that they're trying to kill off paper. And here's why. Like, okay, so back in the day, you had to go to a pre-release to play Magic before it was released, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's online.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird.
It's kind of messed up, right? Like,
I mean, it's great for me. Like, it's great in so many ways. Like, I don't like to leave my house, so it's convenient. You can just wear pajama pants and play Magic. Like, that's great. But at the same time, I love paper Magic so much. Going to Grand Prix is just such a great experience, and I very much hope that it's around for a long time. But it scares me a little bit because of how accessible it is and how much they're pushing Arena.
Yeah. Do you think that they're gonna add? And I know I've talked about this with a couple other guests, but do you think they're gonna add more like multiplayer formats or modern or everything to Arena? Do you think that is kind of where they're headed, or do you think they're always gonna have Moto for that as well?
I mean, they keep saying that they're not going to put that on there, but why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful and fun, and I love Arena. Okay, I love Arena, and I'm going to say, but I feel like Best of One is warping Magic.
Okay.
I think that, and this is not insulting, before I say this, I do not mean this to be insulting. I think Best of One Magic is fun in a lot of ways, but I think it's very different from Best of Three Magic.
Absolutely.
But I think Arena, especially pushing the Best of One so much, it's more like the fast food of Magic.
Mm-hmm. I totally get that.
I do not mean that as an insult, because I very much enjoy my Taco Bell. Okay, like, it's not insulting, it's just different, so you get it so easily. Like, not having to sideboard is huge. It changes the format, it changes how you make your picks. Drafting against bots changes your picks. They don't really follow signals,
right? So
we're like changing people's skills. I don't know.
It changes people's skills, like if a new player starts on Arena now, because that is definitely a possibility. I'm sure it happens every day, and then goes to actually draft. They're going to be in for an entirely different experience, whether that be good or bad. It might be setting up for less than optimal in-person skills, right? So in addition to streaming, you have joined my buddy TJ and Melvin the Muppet as a cast member for the Pondercast. Yes. What made you choose this particular cast to settle in, and what was the experience, or what has the experience been like as a podcaster now?
Well, okay, so I did a podcast before, years ago, called Married to the Game with Athena Froelich and Jennifer Long, Mrs. Mulligan. She actually doesn't stream anymore, but she was pretty big in the community for a while, and that was it was fun. It was the same sort of thing. We talked Magic, but we also just, like, didn't talk Magic. Like, we got very off topic a lot.
Sure.
And we stopped doing it because the editing was such a big time sink.
Yes.
Like, I think you know how long editing takes.
Me? No. Yeah.
And, like, honestly, for me, like, this is one of my biggest... I don't like technology. Like, I know, and I'm saying that as somebody who's Skyping to, I don't know where you are, but, like, I'm using technology actively in my life.
Yeah.
But I do not want to edit. I barely want to set up my stuff for streaming. I just want to stream and, like, hang out.
Yeah.
But you can't do that.
Not with podcasts. Jeez. So what made, how did you, I think they reached out to you to be a guest, right? And then you just kind of stayed, or?
Well, and at the time okay, so me and TJ and Melvin go way back. We were in the Rogues Gallery together. It was a group, and we all tried to support each other streaming about 3 years ago. So we all have sort of kept up, and I try to support them as much as I can because they're a great group of people.
Absolutely. Well, and person and Muppet.
Yes. And so when they invited me to be a guest, I was thrilled because, I mean, I think it's a great podcast. I think they do a wonderful job. They're very fun and silly. And then, so yeah, being a guest was great. But I had talked to Melvin a little bit, and they said they were looking for somebody who was full-time content creator. And that was not me at the time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my whole life shifted so much this year. Like, I've been, like, all over the place. I mean, I just quit my day job a month ago. Like, May 1st, I started streaming full time.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a leap, and I'm still unsure if it was, like, the right decision. I'm, like, having a blast, and I'm building, and I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is trying not to compare myself to other more established streamers who have been streaming 40, 50, 60 hours a week forever.
Sure.
That's really tough to do. But at the same time, I mean, I'm really happy with my community. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I think I'm in a good place.
You are in a great place. And like I said, just try to spend, try to spend 10 minutes watching Jamie's streams, and I will be very surprised if you're not in there for at least $1.40, because it's just so great. You have such a great connection to your chat rather, and to your community, and it's just a very rare thing. You could watch people just go and grind people to dust, and there's audiences for that, of course, but you tend to do both and make it very entertaining. You're like the assassin with a smile. You're laughing and smiling while twisting the knife into someone's eye socket. So it's
Massacre Girl.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I got a little off topic. You asked why, like how I settled in with them on the podcast. And I very much enjoy their company. So when Melvin was like, do you want to join? I was like, absolutely, let's go. Like, it's just so much fun hanging out with them every week.
Yeah. And I'd be remiss not to, there is definitely, unbeknownst to them, of course, there was an elephant in the room, and you were replacing someone that is probably one of the biggest, I'm trying to say it like pieces of trash in the community ever. I don't know.
Oh no.
There's that. So that was that daunting, like, because how great the cast is, it still had kind of a black eye on it, but it just seemed like such a seamless transition. And were you nervous about that at all?
No, I never thought to be nervous about that. So Todd was on the show for a long time, and I have a lot of mixed feelings about Todd. Mm-hmm. As a woman and as a Magic player, like it's tough that's a lot of stuff to unpack, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
But for me, at the end of the day, I don't know. I still wish him well. I hope that he can work through his issues. I hope that, but yeah, I don't know. It's such a hard thing to unpack. Like, for me, oh gosh.
I know.
It's hard. Because there's so much negative stuff where I could be like, oh, well, this, and this. And it's like, does that help? At the end of the day, does that help?
Right.
I think that you should support people whose decisions you approve of. And if you don't approve of the decisions, don't watch them, don't support them, that. But like, at the same time, like, do we have to, I don't know.
No, I totally get it. It focused more on the positivity, right? Than constantly drumming up the negativity. And that's totally fair. But
at the same time, I don't want to like undermine anybody who can't get over it, because that was a big deal. That was not good for the community. And yeah, I don't know how to process it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Certain stuff like that. I have so many children, like we've spoke off air, and a lot of those children are young women, and just trying to raise strong young women in today, in this era is tough. And so when I take certain things like that very personally, even though that I'm, not a woman, obviously, but I just think of my girls when I hear stuff like that, especially from people that you trust and look up to, because, he was a very prominent member of the community. And when people like that, when the mascara wears off, so to speak, it's very disappointing. So,
and I feel you on that. That was brutal, because it's always a thing, like when you say, oh, well, I never saw him like that. It's like, stop it. No, like everybody, I have to stand behind women, I have to, like I am one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So,
but at the same time, like I said, just trying to move past it and just focus your attention on what matters, and try to ignore what okay, I don't know. Like in society, that's also kind of bad, I guess.
Well,
but in streaming and content creation, if you're not supporting them, it's hard for them to thrive, right?
That's true. Yeah. Be proactive, not reactive, is what is kind of the mantra I'm trying to take. So it shouldn't be this big A-bomb that goes off when something like that, when things skeletons come out of closets, right? We should just be proactive and support the things, like you said, that matter to us and that do matter to... that do matter. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, that's a really tough topic to, like, sort of dive into, and I don't know, I feel like there's still a lot of... the community is still up in arms, rightfully so, because there's a lot of other stuff going on as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's ever changing, ever evolving and devolving, and the best that we could do is just be good people. Did you think when you were a child that you would one day grow up to be on a podcast with a Muppet?
No. Not at all. But it's so funny. My mom thinks that's like the best thing in the world. Like, I did an interview it was me, John, and Melvin it was at a Grand Prix one time. He did like a small interview with us, and I shared it, and my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You did an interview with a Muppet."
She's not wrong.
Yeah. No, it was great. Melvin's great.
Yeah, he is. He's extremely funny. I don't know how he isn't larger than has a larger audience than he has. I try to promote whenever I can, just because I think it's such. And I know like Ruben Bressler is another one that just really appreciates what Melvin's doing. So anything I could do to help, I would love to have a Muppet on my show. That's a bucket list, check mark right there. So
I have some connections with Melvin. I could put in a good word for you.
There we go. So you recently competed in the MPL. What was your reaction to the invite, and what was the experience like?
Okay, so I wasn't competing in the MPL. It was a Mythic Invitational. So the MPL was there.
Yeah.
We got to be careful because...
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's another can of worms, the MPL right now.
Right. I will never be invited to either, so...
No, it's okay. So it was basically, the MPL, and then people who grinded to top 8 on Arena, which was like another, like, oh my goodness, like so unhealthy. But the people that did grind, I mean, they were amazing and awesome. Yeah. Like, I'm so happy to have met some of them. Like, Luke is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And then, and then the others were influencers, right? So they threw all of us together in this weird format. Duo standard, which I enjoyed, right? I thought it was fun. So I didn't really play much standard. I played a little bit in November for like a couple weeks to use my wild cards on Arena. And then I get this invite, and I'm like, they didn't tell me what the format was. They're like, do you want to come play Magic? Last place is $7,500. I was like, yes, where do I sign? Let's go.
Right. No thanks. Yeah.
And then they didn't tell us very much. So like, I just, I sent back the email, the reply, yes. And then, so we're waiting like for the announcement and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is the Mythic Invitational. This is the $1 million tournament. That's wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I went there, I was just so emotional. Like, to see Magic on that stage was incredible. To see Arena being played and people standing around watching that don't play Magic, just being like, what's going on here? I mean, it was like, I'm getting teared up now because it was just like so epic. I mean, to see the game you love grow, there's nothing like it. And to be a part of it, I mean, I was just so grateful to be there.
How were the nerves?
The nerve, oh my gosh, I was a mess. So I was a complete mess. So that's something that I'm trying to work on going forward, is like how to play well under pressure. Or just to say, like, I wish I could have just had the attitude, like, I'm here to play Magic, like, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? But I was like, I need to win this thing. Like, who am I? Like, I just started playing Standard in, like, the beginning of February.
Hey, you're at the show. You might as well, shoot for the moon.
You did. Well, and so I fought my way to Mythic that season because I was like, I'm going to the Mythic Invitational. I'm going to be a Mythic level player before I get there. And I just made it a couple days before I went. But I was proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting to Mythic on that ladder is like difficult.
Yes.
For constructed. For limited, you just have to have a lot of money and time. Because best of one limited is a money suck. I'm not gonna lie to you, the variance is high.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're a really good player. So yeah. So I mean, I was not in the right mental state. Like, I wish I was. I was very anxious. I didn't sleep, which was silly. So I'm trying to work on that going forward. Like, I never want to look back and say, like, I wish I would have been more present, right? And I guess everybody has those moments, but I'm going to try to minimize those because, like, this is just a wild ride. Like, let's enjoy it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like from the pictures you took, and you're, like you said, you were probably a wreck emotionally, but the pictures that you took, you look like you were having a blast. You were hanging out with the nerd girl and I think, Vanessa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looked like you had like the little, like a planeswalker camaraderie going on. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, the experience was probably just so overwhelming, but at least you had some awesome people to kind of bounce that off of.
I did. And yes. And we were all sort of like a wreck about it. I'm not going to lie, because it's like the biggest prize in Magic history, right?
Yeah.
So if you won and you didn't have any other prize money, you were going to be like 23rd or something for the most like money made during tournaments, which is nuts.
Insane.
And then, well, okay. So they aired the trailer there too. Did you see my reaction to the War of the Spark trailer?
I cried more during that trailer on multiple viewings.
Yes,
too.
no, it still gets me.
It's so good.
It is so good.
I cried 3 times during Endgame. Nothing compared to what I did during that trailer. I was an inconsolable mess.
Yeah, no, okay. So I thought it was me, like, just being all worked up from the weekend and just like, but I was just like, they panned the audience and my tears.
Yeah.
I have a clip of it. Oh my gosh.
It was just beautiful, and that was, and I mean, it's a perfect lead up, because I was going to mention that too. Again, I have been playing since I was a wee John. I was 12 years old when I started playing this game. I'm in my mid-30s now. So to be able to finally see any kind of a Magic show, movie, anything like that, I've been a huge proponent of. I've been casting this thing in my mind every day for the last however or however
and on
long.
Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I saw the news drop on Monday, and again, I got teary-eyed just from a tweet, just because finally, I mean, I finally got like the Dark Tower movie, and I cried just because it was so bad. Like,
Oh.
it's just like, but this with all the people attached to it,
Yeah,
and
it's got to be great.
and on Netflix and being animated, I hate to say it, and I don't want to eat my words, but how can we go wrong? How excited are you for this?
How can we go? Hold my beer.
Right?
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'm with you. Like, it's super exciting. Like, I love that it's going to be more mainstream, because I mean, my friends and family don't get it. The ones that don't play Magic don't get it, and hopefully this will help them see like the world that they've created. I mean, Wizards has created like planeswalkers, like, just, I don't know. It's just so much and fantastic, and I'm thrilled.
Decades of characters and stories, and
yeah,
and I know they're gonna probably streamline that for sure. Like, we're not gonna go back and do the Wrath cycle, on screen, or maybe we will. But that's the thing that I'm saying is, you have so much more, or they have so much more autonomy to kind of jump around and take out the best parts of the Magic lore buffet to put on screen, where where it's not just gonna be the Gatewatch. If it is just the Gatewatch, I'll be happy. I'll be happy if it's, a Tybalt episode. I'll eat it up, just because we're finally getting to live in this world, see this world, in motion. And that was, I think that Wizards needed that resounding, do people really care about it? And that's what, tying the trailer back into the conversation, that's the justification, I think, that Wizards is just like, yes, this is a safe bet. People are clamoring for this because, again, I show my family Magic stuff all the time, and it's not only they don't get it, they hate it, because it's just taken over such a huge part of dad and husband's life. But showing my kids and my wife that trailer, they're like, wow, this is really cool. Is this a show? Well, it will be, but no, this particular thing isn't. This is just a trailer for a set, and they're like, wow, I would watch this.
Yeah. They didn't give us a timeline, right? Like, all we have is that they're making the show. And there was like a tiny little preview. It was like a 30-second preview.
I didn't see a preview. I just saw that picture of Chandra.
Oh, I swear I saw a preview on Twitter, but nobody else has seen it. I should have liked it. It was like a 30-second thing, and it was just Chandra saying stuff, and her hair was on fire. But maybe I dreamed it.
Maybe.
Because
Maybe.
nobody else has seen it.
Yeah, maybe. And any early casting predictions? I don't know if you're a big movie buff, but
no, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, I don't have any predictions. I just hope they don't try to do it too fast. Like, I hope they take their time.
Yeah. That's the one reservation, right? It's just like Netflix will give everything to something, but then like for 3 seasons, and then they cut it, and it's like, no. So I hope that they do take their time with it. But with who's involved, I mean, the Russos could have picked anything after what they just accomplished cinematically, so I'm glad that they picked this. Because when we first spoke, it was on the night of the Game of Thrones Season 8 premiere.
Yes.
You seemed, like myself, cautiously optimistic, as my wife and I were as well. Let's conduct a little spoiler review of the season and the series in general. So now that you've consumed Season 8, and if anyone hasn't watched Game of Thrones Season 8, this is our spoiler. Turn off now, come back at this time code, blah, blah, blah. But how do you feel now that it's all out there?
So, I mean, I couldn't help but be disappointed a little bit in the last season, because I feel like the first 4 or 5 seasons were like incredible. But when they ran out of books and they ran out of dialogue to refer to, that's when I think things started going downhill. Yeah. And I felt like everything was very rushed. But did I still want to watch every episode? Absolutely. And like, I like the direction they went with it. I just wish it would have been stretched over like at least 6 more episodes. I don't know. Yeah. Like that last season could have been like 4 seasons.
Yes.
But I understand that they were under time pressure with contracts, and I get that. There's real world obligations. So I think they did. Overall, I think it was a great show. And if somebody said, should I watch this? I would be like, absolutely.
Yes. I agree. Everything, it should have been, the last season should have been 10 episodes. It just seems so jarring, a lot of the decisions. Like, oh, Dany's, she's great. She's who we're rooting for. Oh, she's burning babies.
Well, so she stopped eating the one episode. Yeah. So honestly, she was probably just hangry. Like that's it.
She was a Snickers commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's Joe Pesci for an episode. I get it. But I don't know. When the credits rolled on the very last episode, I literally turned to my wife and said, that's it? Like,
right.
It didn't even feel like it was over. Man. I'm not going to be... Game of Thrones is still the best. It's like complaining that your grilled cheese with bacon on it was a little overdone, right? It's like, no, it's still a grilled cheese. It's still like the best accomplishment cinematically on a television show ever. So again, like you said, would I recommend it to someone? Absolutely. But you hit the nail on the head. When they ran out of books, they kind of ran out of what the spirit of Game of Thrones was supposed to be, in my opinion, as well.
And there was still like episodes sprinkled in that were amazing. Like the Hodor episode was so incredible. Like it still just brings me chills. Like I can't wrap my head around all of that. Still to this day, it's like, what really happened there? But it was so perfect.
It's brilliance. Absolutely. And then to tie it in, before we hit Face the D20, which is our game, what are your short and long-term goals in Magic?
I very much would like to go to a Pro Tour, and I want to earn it. I don't want to be invited. I mean, if I was invited, I would go. Absolutely. Let me just put that out there. I'll be there. But I want to spike a GP and get there. Like, I want to go through the normal channels of, I want to prove myself, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, like, being invited to stuff. I'm not saying that you're not proving yourself that way. It's another way, because I feel like everybody at the Invitational was like there for a reason, right? I have to tell myself that because I was one of the people that was invited.
No, it was very justified, your invitation. Absolutely.
Well, and it's an Invitational, so a lot of people were very mad about so-and-so getting one and not getting one, and who's this person, and that was like an advertisement for the game. they wanted to show the full spectrum of everybody who loves and appreciates this game, I think.
Yes.
And I think they did a great job. I love that event. But yeah, so I really want to get to a pro tour. I'm going to get a Rakdos tattoo when I spot at one.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Of the actual demon or like of the symbol?
The symbol. And I was actually going to see if I could get it branded on me, if that's like a thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. So punk rock.
I don't know like how or where you would get something like that done, but I think that'd be really cool.
I think there's like farms, like cattle.
Okay.
Slip someone $20, get the thing made by a iron worker, and then you can get your Rakdos face tattoo or branding, and you'll be good to go. Yeah.
I did say that if I hit 1 million subs on Twitch, I'll get a face tattoo of the Rakdos.
Please don't.
I think we're safe though.
Well,
nobody has 1 million subs. I think we're good to go.
You never know. Oh, don't write checks you can't cash, friend.
For $1 million subs, 1 million subs is like $4 million or something, right? Because at that point they're giving you like most of the money.
Okay.
So for $4 million in 1 month, I would absolutely get a tattoo on my face.
How big does it have to be?
I didn't know. Nobody said anything about that.
Okay.
I would get a pretty nice one, like just right here.
There you go.
Maybe right under my eye.
Yeah, like a prison tattoo, like the teardrops, right? Except yours would be a Rakdos sign.
Yeah, but I want it a little bit bigger. I want people to be able to see it. I want them to know, like, I mean business,
Money well spent, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't, but I do.
So this year, okay, so for myself, I really wanted to focus on Magic and just see, like, can I really be a top-notch player? And for me, I mean, I think my biggest flaws right now are, like, when I get tired, I lean on chat, which is bad. Okay, because I have to tell you a secret. Chat is not one person.
Right.
There are a lot of different people, and some of them are better than me at Magic, right? But I would say probably the majority of them are worse, right? Because I don't play 40-some hours a week.
Sure.
And sometimes, so for me, I need to trust myself and say, like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Like, I've been playing this game. I've done over 1,000 drafts. I'm probably even pushing 2,000 drafts at this point in my life. I'm not kidding. Like, a lot.
That's a non-trivial amount. Yeah, that's a lot of Magic.
And I've, every GP I've done by myself, I've day two'd. Like, that's great, right?
Yeah.
I have cash, like, I have pro points. Like, I'm just saying, like, sometimes, and I don't think this is, like, a gender thing. I think this is, like, I don't know. I have anxiety for sure. So a lot of times I don't trust myself. I'm like, okay, well, all right. I question, like, am I enough? Am I good enough? And the answer is yes. Dang it. Go for it. Right. Like,
absolutely.
So I'm trying to learn that, trust myself and move forward.
So would you say that the biggest thing the biggest obstacle that's standing in your way is yourself then? Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So I need to, for me, like, I don't play Magic well when I'm tired. So this is like, it's a lifestyle. It's like, how do I become the best player I can be? And the answer is not just through like brute drafts. You just can't. Like, after a while, like, absolutely, when somebody wants to get better, they'll say, how do I get better at draft? Do it all the time. Okay, after that, like, there's, like, you have to make incremental leaps. You can't, like, the first leap is huge, because experience is the best teacher, I think.
Absolutely.
And you can listen to podcasts and watch other people do it, and I think it's been so great watching MPL members draft. Like, being able to watch Ben Stark and see his thought process live is incredible.
Yes.
But for me, like, so I'm warping my entire life around this game, right? I quit my job. I'm doing it 40-some hours a week. And the question I ask myself every day is, like, how do I become a better Magic player? But it's not just a better Magic player. It's like a better person, right?
Yeah. That's an excellent answer. And it's got to be so exciting and scary at the same time going all in on something. Anything, right? It's something that you're passionate about. Going all in as an artist or a creator or anything that you feel passionate about is the biggest gift you could give yourself, but also the scariest thing ever. So I can only imagine what you're going through, but also, of course, envious of how exciting that must feel.
I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed since almost day one. And I just have to see where it goes. Like, that's where I'm at. And I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous.
Right.
But at the same time, like, what isn't?
Yeah.
Like, our lives are so short. And you're never guaranteed tomorrow. You're just not. Like, most likely, you will live to be 80, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the most, or beyond. But the most dangerous thing to me is, like, regretting what I didn't try to do.
Absolutely.
And money, like, I'm not making what I was making at my day job, right? Content creation in the beginning is, it's tough to get to that point where you're making a living from it. Mm-hmm. But I'm frugal as heck, and I'm ready. I don't need to spend money. It's cool. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got the giggles. This has a little bit of alcohol in it.
It probably also helps immensely, of course, that, I mean, I'm sure you have a great support system as well at home.
Absolutely. So you said going all in on something. The only other thing I've gone all in on in my life is Jon. Like, my marriage is, like, fantastic. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better husband. Like, I'm so thrilled. And I don't know if you've heard this, but I tell this on stream all the time. There were a few very well-meaning people that told me, like, I need to pretend to be single to make money streaming.
Gross.
And I was like,
that's gross.
Absolutely not.
That's so gross.
Yeah. But no, I mean, there's some truth to it, right? Like, on Twitch, like, there are definitely some people that throw money at women because they think they have a chance with getting with them. And I mean, maybe they do, but it's very, 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 very small.
Right.
Okay, so don't throw all your money at somebody. Don't do it.
I'm one of the exceptions, I guess. Like, they always say, like, don't flirt with your barista or something. But I mean, I literally, back in 2003, walked into a Starbucks and came out with a wife. So it just happens sometimes. But I am, I am the exception to the rule. Don't go into streams just to try to get a date. But that's so amazing and fantastic that you are. That your marriage does matter to, because I even know people that are just like, of course I've had a husband or wife for so long, but I tell everyone I don't on stream or my channel just to, and I'm like, I mean, do you? But that's just kind of gross. And I feel like if you don't come off as authentic, it really, if it doesn't come out initially, it always will eventually.
So I never want to fault anybody for how they make their money, right? Like, it is a business. At the end of the day, like, a stream is a business, right? But for me, I have a really hard time lying. And this goes hand in hand with the fact, like, my memory is terrible. So I can't keep up with a lie, nor do I want to. Like, for me, I mean, I love when women come in and they say, like, I'm teaching my boyfriend how to play Magic. Like, awesome.
It's rad.
Great. Right?
All right, Jamie, it's that time of the episode where we're gonna put you to the fire, so to speak. Face the D20 is the game where Jamie has a spin down handy, and each one of those numbers correlate to a non-Magic the Gathering related question, and so we get to know a little bit more about the lady behind the cards, so to speak. So whenever you're ready, my friend.
Just roll it?
Just roll it.
14.
14, and I know that you're a bad liar, so I'll trust that as a 14.
It's definitely a 14.
Your favorite non-Magic YouTuber? Do you consume content? That's another question, I guess.
I do. So I watch a lot of YouTube, well, when I have time. I used to have a lot more time when I had a day job and I had free time during the day during my work day. That's terrible.
Sounds terrible, but I totally understand what you mean.
Well, like, so I had an office job, so I would do, like, data entry sometimes. So, like, I would usually have some sort of content in the background, right? Like, I wouldn't just be, like, sitting there watching YouTube. I mean, sometimes I would, but... So I really like Safia. I don't know what her last name is, but I think she's hilarious. Let me see if I can look her up.
Okay.
I mean, this is, I don't know if y'all will, like, she just, like, really, okay, Safia Nygaard is her name.
Okay.
She puts out, like, random things. Like, one time she bought an Amazon, like, box of Amazon returns. and it was $1,500 worth of returns, and she bought it for like, I don't know, I think it was like $400 for like shipping, and because it was heavy as heck.
Yeah.
But she's just so funny. Like, she's hilarious, and like, just the stuff that she does, it's great. So she does random things, like she got her makeup professionally organized, and she bought like spa products from Amazon and made a spa at home. Like, just really random, but really entertaining.
Nice. It's like meant to be like a comedy channel.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she is very funny. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
But also informative.
Oh.
Which I like. Like, that's sort of what I'm going for in my stream too. Like, I want people to laugh and have fun, but also like learn.
Nice. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. You ready to hit the dice again? Or
sure.
Spin down. I don't want to offend the purists.
Oh, okay. Well, 12.
Number 12. What food would you not eat even if someone paid you $500? And now knowing that you get a Rakdos face tattoo,
if somebody paid me $500, I'll eat anything.
Oh my gosh, you serious?
Yeah, $500 is a lot of money. You know how many drafts that is? That's how I like measure money. How many drafts can I get out of this? That's a ton.
I forgot the name of it, but I was talking to Olivia, the prolific cosplayer, and she said that when she went to Iceland, she ate this fermented shark urine thing it's like a delicacy over there.
Ew.
Right? And it's just like super ammoniated, and I don't know. That sounds like the one thing that I don't think I could do. Do you think you could do that for 500?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hold your nose in. Yeah, it's fine. So I'm mostly vegetarian, so like eating meat, I wouldn't like to do it, but for $500, I would just say, I'm sorry, I'm gonna eat you. And I've eaten meat in the past, so every once in a while, like, I'll eat chicken or...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a vegetarian purist.
I won't eat veal, but besides that, I'll
yeah, like, just the idea.
Yeah, yeah. All right, one more roll of the dice if you have time.
Sure. 8.
Number 8. If you could have dinner with any dead celebrity, who would it be? And it could be historical figure, anyone that is just like the most important or influential person to you, but they can't have a pulse.
Oh no. I don't know. Do I have to have an answer?
You could roll again if you want a mulligan. You want to call
I'm a mulligan.
Yeah, sure.
That's too hard. Like, I'd have to think about that for like a day. Because, like, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to roll again. I'm sorry.
Mulligan.
How about a 9?
A 9. Ask the interviewer anything.
Ooh. Okay. So, you have 4 children.
I do.
Do you have a favorite? And you have to say no, right?
I do have to, but I kind of do. I don't know. There's this... But
it probably changes, though, right? And I'm sure as they grow up, it's going to change, too.
Nah, it's been this way. It's kind of been the same one.
But so sometimes you connect more.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
This one just, I don't know. It was born... I don't want to give away any specifics, but this person was born, and since that day, I was just like, I don't know. It's like I zinged, and more protective and more, and I love all of them, and
of course.
I mean, if you know, all of them I love at 1,000,000%. This one is just like 0.1%. I don't know if it's loving more. What are you trying to do? Now I'm a bad father on the internet.
No. I'm sorry. Well, so I asked you because, I mean, I don't have kids yet, but right. I have pets. When people ask me, do I have a favorite? I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I don't want to say yes, but like, yes. But for me, it changes during, like, a different day, it could be a different answer.
I love my cat way more than my dog, and I'll tell the dog to its face.
No,
I don't
okay.
care. When we're talking about pets, yeah, the cat wins. Like, the dog can, whatever. He's cool and all, but he's just, yeah, the cat is just beautiful. I was never a cat person until I got this cat. He was this tiny little thing when we got him at the pound, and then like 2 weeks later, he's just this monster werewolf with like evil eyes, but I love him so much.
Oh,
I know.
well, great.
He's beautiful. All right. You survived Face the D20. How do you feel, Jamie?
I feel okay.
You're like, fine.
I'm sorry I didn't have an answer, but I do feel like that's really hard, and I would put like a lot of thought into it, and I feel like it wouldn't have been good. Like I would have just thrown an answer willy-nilly, and I don't want to do that.
Well, I appreciate you taking it very seriously. Any upcoming projects you could tease or spoil with the group?
Upcoming projects. I mean...
Besides the Rakdos face tattoo, of course.
Yeah, I mean, 1 million subs, I'm doing it. Like, you can hold me to that. 1 million subs.
It's my personal mission to get you there now. I just want to see this happen.
It needs to be that number, right?
Yes.
That would float me for the rest of my life, and I could just play Magic like no worries ever.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
You would have to, because no one would employ a branding, a face branding demon icon, so Magic would be it at that point, right?
It's like a good way to commit, right?
Talking about going all in. The incredible Jamie Topples, a.k.a. Jamie Rigatti, thank you so much for planeswalking in. Where can everyone find you, my friend?
Twitch.tv/Jamie Topples or on Twitter @Jamie Topples.
Perfect. You could find me right here on this very channel. They Said, We Said, talking Magic every week on the live show 10th Street Hooligans or the Hive Mind, like this very show that you're watching right here. You could also find all the other movie stuff I'm talking about, because I can't decide. Do I want to be Magic? Do I want to be movie? Why don't we just put peanut butter and jelly together and make a weird YouTube channel that some people like? You can also find me on Twitter @OrzovDunn. You could go and traverse over to cardsphere.com, because they are simply the very best place to buy, sell, and trade your paper Magic the Gathering cards online. Head on over to inkgaming.com, enter promo code HiveMindMTG to receive 10% off your purchase. If you want to listen to this show in podcast form only, you could do so by heading over to constructedcriticism.com, because that is the exclusive hosting site for the audio version of this very show. So until next time, Planeswalkers, I'll see you all in the multiverse.